Coming up tonight on YCU, 4 New Hampshire men who were juveniles when they were sentenced to life in prison want a re-sentence. A Chester man allegedly confronts the town's police chief with an AK-47. And Representative Virginia Irwin talks about the potential casino for New Hampshire. For more news, sports, and weather, stay tuned. It's time for YCU, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region and central Vermont. News, sports, weather, public affairs, and all that's happening in our area. The news on YCU, your local view.
Good evening and welcome to YCU. I'm David Carmichael. Prosecutors say 4 New Hampshire men in prison for life for murders they committed when they were under 18 should not be resentenced. WMUR reports that lawyers for Robert Tulloch, Robert Digman, Eduardo Lopez Jr., and Michael Soto will be in court today seeking to have them resentenced under a U.S. Supreme Court ruling that says mandatory life sentences for juveniles amounts to cruel and unusual punishment. Tulloch was convicted in 2011 for the deaths of 2 Dartmouth professors, while Digman was convicted of killing his parents in Rochester in 1996. Lopez was convicted in a fatal shooting in Nashua in 1991, and Soto supplied the gun used in a Manchester street shooting in 2007. The Claremont man charged with stabbing another man in the chest outside Walmart is headed to prison after he pleaded guilty to 2 felony counts on Monday. The Eagle Times is reporting that 25-year-old Eric Sanborn of Claremont, New Hampshire, pleaded guilty in Sullivan County Superior Court in Newport to 1 count of second-degree assault and 1 count of being a felon in possession of a dangerous weapon. This is the second time Sanborn has been sentenced to prison in connection with a stabbing. He was charged in 2006 after allegedly beating another man with brass knuckles, and later that year he was charged with beating another man for being a rat. The New Hampshire State Supreme Court is expected to issue rulings on evidence in the case of a man charged with the 1989 arson deaths of 4 members of a Keene family. David McLeod in 2010 became the most prominent suspect arrested by the New Hampshire's Cold Case Unit. A Chester man is facing charges after he allegedly tried to confront the town's police chief with a loaded rifle. WCAX reports that 31-year-old Damian Diety appeared in court Monday in a wheelchair following his fight with police. They say on Friday, Chief Richard Cloud went to Diety's house after he allegedly made threats, calling a woman. The chief says during the exchange, Diety reached for a loaded AK-47 before he was tackled by officers and disarmed. Diety denies charges of reckless endangerment and resisting arrest, among others. A Walpole, New Hampshire woman and a Westminster, Vermont man were charged on Monday with 3 burglaries of Kenneth Beebe's Plumbing and Heating in Westminster, Vermont, according to reports by WNTK. Police say that 21-year-old Jacob McAllister confessed to committing 3 burglaries to Beebe's business from January 27th through the 31st with assistance of 47-year-old Betty Bashaw of North Walpole. The investigation revealed that the burglaries were committed to support McAllister's and Bashaw's heroin addiction. The Bellows Falls Police Department assisted the Vermont State Police in the investigation. A homeless teen told police that he didn't know what else to do after he broke into the Springfield High School and ate a bagel and yogurt. 18-year-old Evan Wiley pleaded not guilty to burglary and trespassing. Police caught him inside the school over the weekend going through a refrigerator in a classroom. He had already been served a no trespass order for similar break-ins, but indicated to police he didn't know where else to go. Vermont is close to joining Oregon, Washington, and Montana as states that allow doctors to prescribe lethal medication to terminally ill patients who request it. The State House has approved the measure 75-65, and it now heads to the governor for a signature. Vermont state lawmakers are expected by tonight to give final approval to a nearly $1.4 billion general fund budget for the next fiscal year. Lawmakers pushing to make the state income tax more progressive have given up for now, but hope to have a more detailed plan ready for next year. After the break, we'll get swept away by Graham Gifford's business, Basic Clean.
The YCU News continues in a moment.